What's up, everybody? Get in here. Why didn't you guys tell me that the good Reverend Al Sharpton has some nasty things to say about my R&B diva Whitney Houston? Why didn't you guys tell me this? Let's talk about it. What's up? Welcome over here to Pepe's Point of View. I appreciate it. Yes, I do. But I'm here to tell you, oh my gosh, I am so floored. We got a lot of things over here to cover. Let me just hit a couple of high points real quick. But we're going to talk about this Reverend Al Sharpton's comment that he made about my favorite R&B diva, Whitney Houston. So how did I come about finding out that he said this? Because I had no idea that he made this comment. Here we have Bernadette Cooper, where we have Joyce Fenderella Irby, and then we have Bernadette Cooper, who is in the red hat. These two divas are singer-songwriters, producers, and musicians, and they are former members of the group Climax. These two ladies, they've gotten back together again with some members of the group Climax, and they are working on new material this year. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have some new Climax material. I hope so, fingers crossed. Now, how did I get into this Whitney Houston comment that I had no idea about? Well, I am reading Joyce Fenderella Irby's book, I Still Say Yes. I'm reading the book. You know, I got some time. You know, the summer that came in, you know, and I'm busy over here. Got a lot of changes going on over here. And so I decided to start reading the book again. So I get to a part in her book where Joyce is talking about, you know, when Whitney Houston first came out, sorry, you guys, and how she just wanted to meet her. She couldn't wait to, you know, when the opportunity would present itself to, you know, meet Whitney Houston. And so she's just talking about it in the book. And of course, she's making, you know, different comments about Whitney Houston and all of the backlash that Whitney Houston was receiving when she was really reaching stardom in her career. Okay. Now, we all know that there was a period of time where urban radio programmers, radio personalities, executives were pretty much not necessarily taking a liking to Whitney Houston because allegedly, let me put this alleged up here. Y'all making me tired already, you know, but you can't, I'm just going to put it. So allegedly, the way it looks like it unfolded, these were by the hands of Clive Davis. Clive Davis, of course, had this plan, and the plan was he was going to release You Give Good Love, release it to the black market, place the urban marketplace, and once Whitney Houston caught on with black audiences, then he was going to propel her towards, you know, superstardom with, you know, pop audiences. Long story short, alienated, you know, a lot of people in the business in doing that. Whitney Houston allegedly did. That's how it was being looked at. And so she's talking about that. And so Joyce gets to the part where the good Reverend Al Sharpton called Whitney Houston Whitney Houston. Now, y'all might say to yourself, you all, You might say to yourself, well, okay, he said it, but here's what I dislike about it. If you know me, all right, and if you don't, allow me to give you my take on this. I was about to become the militant midget, all right? Militant midget meaning Michael Evans. Good times, militant midget. I was definitely like for my people when growing up in high school, my grandmother, expressed the importance of, you got rights, baby. Stand up on your rights. That's how my grandmother was, when, she would talk to us about certain things. She was like, well, when I was growing up, there were certain things that we just couldn't do. But now you all can do them. So take advantage of this. So that led me into majoring in history. I wanted to focus on the civil rights era, and that's what I did. And I minored in English, and I wanted to focus on African American literature. And that's what I did. Long story short story long, to seal the deal, I wanted to get to an HBCU. That's what I wanted. I was like, I got to get to an HBCU. And the HBCU that I wanted to go to was Howard University. I was like, I got to get there, discovering that a lot of people in entertainment, was coming out of Howard University. So that only sealed it even more for me. Back in the day, that's what I wanted to do. Anyway, my mother had her way, and I ended up going to our local university. But I did apply to an HBCU around my area. I got into it, but it wasn't Howard. I never applied. My mother wouldn't let me. And then she wouldn't let me go to when I didn't want to go to that particular HBCU that was around my area. Anyway, long story short story long, my mother was like, no, I'm not going to let you do it because I know you're about to go and get the beat started, because I was for my people. I really and truly wanted to be the next Eric Michael Dyson or Cornel West. I did. I mean, I was on it. So to hear that the good Reverend Al Sharpton had some not so kind things to say about Whitney Houston, it has left I don't know how I feel about you now, Al Sharpton. And let me tell you why I feel this way. What did she do for you, of all people, to make that comment? All she's doing is singing music. I remember back in the day, I do, when I was growing up, okay, when Whitney Houston came out. And she came out in 1985 with her album. I think it was called Whitney. I think it was Whitney, then Whitney Houston, so on and so forth. I remember during Black History Month, I remember this. It was nothing to see Whitney Houston's face in the hallways of my school when we were talking about Black history. And this was like early in Whitney Houston's career, right? I can remember this, whether it was maybe like 88, 89, 90, and even younger. Yeah, no, I'm going to say 87. Yeah, I'm going to say 87, 88, 89. Her picture would be out there among entertainers because, of course, she's setting all of these sale records, right? And I never thought for 1 minute, even when her career looks like her image was being questioned and it was being tainted as far as the way she looked, so on and so forth. We're going to talk about Climax, so on and so forth, that I was saying to myself, like, I always thought of Whitney Houston as being beautiful and elegant and had a voice that was like the eighth wonder of the world. Like, she, even if she did expand into white audiences or pop audiences, I like to think that she handled herself very well, even among, those audiences. I never looked at Whitney Houston, never in my entire, well, I was about to say entire life, but throughout her entire life as a singer, a singer, Whitney Houston. I never looked at her like a sellout. I never did at all. I know some people out there probably did. I never thought about Whitney Houston not sounding black enough. I never thought about Whitney Houston sounding too white or too black. I understand those things probably did come up because from my understanding, there is a version of You Give Good Love out there that she's definitely singing it like a black Whitney Houston, if you understand what I'm saying. Like she's definitely like very soulful with that rendition, with a rendition of You Give Good Love. So much so that they were like, nah, this here is too urban. But anywho, I'm shocked at you, Al Sharpton. So I was looking at this comment, searching, and it was posted in 2019. And the comment here that was posted on someone's Twitter page basically says, did Al Sharpton ever apologize about calling for a boycott of who he called Whitney Houston because she sang pop music? So I'm even shocked to see that he called her, made some comments about Whitney Houston. I'm just shocked. Like, Al Sharpton, you got some explaining to do for me. And the reason why you have some explaining to do to me about this is because at the end of the day, what do you mean she is Whitney Houston? What was your reason and your rationale behind that? You have to explain that to a person such as myself. Like, what were you thinking? What are you thinking to call this diva Whitney Houston? Like, of all people, to me, that seems like you were very, very petty and vindictive for doing something like that, right? I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And again, what Whitney Houston did in her life, she did it to herself. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there are no reports of Whitney Houston ever being mean to anyone as far as, those kinds of reports. Maybe she had to stand her ground on a couple of things and tell people, and back people up off of her. I understand that. But I'm talking about, like, there are no stories for her about she's being, you know what I'm saying, these other celebrities and what they're doing with certain people of certain ages, and all of that stuff, like, people disappearing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, her character, her overall character to me, Whitney Houston, is still intact. It's just that what we learn from a Whitney Houston story is that, well, these choices that you make do have consequences, right? And the choice is like, hey, if you do this particular thing, this could happen to you. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I know. I'm just shocked and appalled at the fact that the good Reverend Al Sharpton said this about Whitney Houston. Child. Well, anyway, let's talk about these two. Oh, I'm made me tired. This is a good book. It's becoming a good book. And I think what I want to do, allow me to explain now. When I found out that these two ladies, when I saw this picture on the Facebook page, I was saying to myself, I said, Self, see, don't do this. Don't talk about it now because you don't want to bring up old things, because I'm sure that these two ladies are definitely probably still working out some of the kinks in their relationship. I don't even know if they watch over here. I don't. Trust me, I know some people watch it, if you know what I mean. But I don't know. But I do know shortly after I posted my video about Bernadette Cooper and Joyce Fenderella Irby, then Bernadette Cooper started, posting about some of her backstory as far as, some of the things that some of the stories of her working with certain artists and the backstories to that. And I was like, oh, okay, that's very cool and neat. So I'm happy that that's happening. And then the next thing I know, after I posted my video, then they started talking about working together again. And I suggested, I was like, I am so happy and excited that these two ladies are doing that. And I tell you why. I made the comment. I was like, these two ladies can definitely be, and still can become, like the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and the L.A. Reid and the Babyface. Like, I think that, you know, because think about it. We don't have a female duo production team. You know, of course, they were, I'm sorry. Y'all bear with me. I'm trying to stay away from my face. You know, I'm doing all this skincare stuff here, and I'm trying. It's so hard to stay away from my face. But, okay. But I think that they could definitely be that duo still. I hope that this is something that will continue to happen, you know, between Irby and Cooper. I hope so. I really and truly do hope so, because these ladies have definitely worked with, you know, some wonderful acts, you know, with Joyce Irby, I think it's Dallas Austin, Sammy. You have Bernadette Cooper with Climax, Madam X. She's done some things with Cheryl Lynn. I think she's done some things with Bette Midler. She's worked in different other things, soundtracks and all of that. So again, oh my gosh, it's just so amazing to see this. So hopefully by bringing this up, that I am not opening up another wound, if you will, for, you know, what was probably some of the reasons for the group demise in the first place, of them going their separate ways. I hope not. But this book is getting interesting. It really is. So, yeah. So let's talk about other things in this book that I also find interesting. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stop right here, and I'm gonna talk about that in the next video. I want to do it. I'm 17 minutes in, and you know I try not to keep these videos longer than 30 minutes. But anyway, that's it. I'm done. Thank you so much for tuning in over here to Pepe's Point of View. As you probably already know, if you've been around you subscribers, then you know it was once Pepe La View. I decided to change that for a whole lot of reasons. I've been wanting to change it. I just now gotten around to doing it. As I told you, expect some changes to happen, and it's just going to be gradual, so on and so forth. Also, too, you guys, if you made it to this part of the video, then why don't you go ahead on and hit the subscribe button. I appreciate that a lot. Not only that, there's a link in the description box of this video, and I'm also encouraging you guys to go over to my Facebook page, not my personal Facebook page, but the Pepe's Point of View Facebook page. And I'm also asking you to follow me over there, because what I'm doing over there on the Facebook page is that you would get more of the new divas, if you will. Over here on the YouTube channel, what I want to do is I want to talk more about the divas, the old school divas, if you will. I want to talk more about them, but to get the update diva news, then please go over to the Facebook page. I am posting things over there, and will be posting videos over there on the Facebook page. And I'm also right now working on a website. So a lot of things going on. So I thank you guys so much for your patience. I thank you so much for your feedback. I really and truly do. Thank you so much. And on that note, remember to put your behind where your heart desires to be. Also, remember, whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. And on that note, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing your next video. And until then, you all take care of yourselves out there.